Hello, my name is Eric Lantris, and I'm really happy and excited to bring to you my easy ranking recipe. I've been building a case study website, and I've actually outranked SEO Moz, HuffingtonPost, Search Engine Land, just to name a few, for the keywords that we're going for. And I want to show you exactly how I did it. Most importantly, when I was doing it, I was not using any trickery. There was no ninja techniques. There was no black hat stuff. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There was no special tactics that I used. It's just going to be all straightforward, really easy stuff that I've been teaching and things that you could follow step by step. I'm going to give you my exact recipe from A to I guess E. I think there's like 6 or 7 steps, and I'm going to show you exactly how you could do it for yourself and how I did it without any tools, without any software. It's been done all by hand. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you my case study. So I'm going to show you exactly how it's been done. I'm going to give you my exact recipe, and I'm also going to give you my tricks to ranking websites. On the right hand side, you're going to see an example of the progress that I've been making. So this is one of the main keywords that I've been tracking, and it's just been going up and up and up and up. And if we look on the other side, we're actually going to see the search graphs and the traffic graphs, and so I got Webmaster Tools and Google Analytics. And here's what you need to know about the case study site. It's been built from scratch in April. It's not a huge site. It's actually relatively small. There's no automation that was used. So I didn't use any software. I didn't use any special like services that create 1 billion backlinks. None of that. I haven't used any software to like build backlinks, or I haven't really used software to build the site either. And it's currently outranking SEO Moz, Search Engine Land, HuffingtonPost, and of course it's in the SEO industry. So if you know anything about the SEO industry, there's people that know SEO in the SEO industry, and it's kind of competitive. I mean, SEO Moz, Search Engine Land, I think they have a PR7. HuffingtonPost, obviously, I think it's PR9 or so. So these are huge mammoth competitors that have been established, really. And not only are they established, but they know what they're doing as well in terms of SEO. So this is why I wanted to show you that it's possible, if you follow the simple techniques, to do really well and even outrank them. So let's move on to the actual rankings. So now this is one of my main keywords. This is actually the main keyword I was going for. And I had to block out my keywords just because, everyone kind of understands why I'm doing this and why everyone does this at this point. And what's important to see is we're actually ranking number 1. So we're above, the result in bold, the little 1 in bold is what I'm showing you right now. And we're above Search Engine Watch, we're above Search Engine Journal, we're above Moz, which is at rank 9, and HuffingtonPost, and all these other really kind of big sites, let's just say. And, we're just cruising along, ranking up there, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So it's actually just really simple. If you follow this, I'm actually going to give you the exact details. So the first part is the most important part. And I've been professing this forever and ever and ever, is you need a high quality piece of content. So my piece of content, one of my pieces of content, but like this is going to be one of the primary pieces of content, is going to be 2,807 words. Now I pulled out, we're doing kind of a case study, so I pulled out the exact figures that I have, and it was 2,807 words, 10 original images, 1 title, so 1 H1, 13 subheadlines, H2s, 1 table of content, and 48 relevant internal and external links. So do you need all this? Well, kind of, it just helps. I'm always talking about like, hey, get 3,000 words, get 15 images and all that stuff, and you're going to rank, and you're going to have such a great, like an easier way, easier ride to ranking. And I walk my talk. Like I say it because this is what I do. And a lot of people might come up and say, hey, you know what? There's no way you should not rank with that. And that's the point. If Google doesn't rank this, and it is the best resource and the highest quality on the internet, if Google doesn't rank it, then it's on Google's shoulders. They're screwing up. It's not us that's not doing our part. It's them that's screwing up, and they're not rewarding the highest quality content. So that's why whenever the first step is always approaching it with, okay, let's make the best damn thing we possibly can. And then everything else that we're going to talk about, all the extra steps is going to be easier. So how did this come to be? Well, it actually took me a weekend. I mean, this content that I created, it didn't take like 2 seconds. I don't want to lie to you and say you could pump it out in 20 minutes. No, it actually took me a weekend, and I was sick. I wasn't feeling well. I was inside, and I just felt like something I've been wanting to do. So I'm like, okay, well, why not? And I just went on and I started writing, started creating this cool resource. And alternatively, if you were doing this on for a business or on a regular basis, you don't want to do it yourself. I did it myself because I just felt like doing it. I wanted to do it. But if you are doing it for a website and you're doing it in a publishing manner, like when I start publishing things and I have writers and editors and everything, this is what I recommend you do. Instead of doing it yourself, you want to get yourself a high quality writer. And to write about 2,000, 3,000 words, it's going to be about $180 per pieces of content. 10 original images. An artist doing it $15 per image will cost you around $150. And then I always recommend an editor. It's like editors can be lifesavers, save you so much time doing the nitty gritty stuff. Just tell them exactly how you want it once, and then they're just going to go in. I hire some guy from the Philippines whenever I'm doing publishing stuff, and he knows exactly my formula. Goes in, sets a title, all the subheadlines, make sure they're relevant, sets the table of content, and then puts a bunch of internal and external links, so everything like really pops. And you know what? This whole thing was free for me because I did it all myself. But if you were hiring people and you wanted to do it on a regular basis, it would cost about $370 per pieces of content. So that's your starting point. That's your foundation. But like I said, you could do it for free. And the point is if you got to think of this as an investment, it's a building block. And it's the first step and the most important step. So if over the course of a year, you could make more than $370 from having a pillar foundation of a website. And for me, if I get one customer, it's worth more than that. So just getting one customer out of the resource I created and the site I'm creating is way more, it's my ROI is huge. So that's why you have to think of it in an ROI kind of way whenever you're approaching this. So you could always do it for free, or if you're going to be doing this professionally for your business, hire people. It's definitely worth it. Okay, so once we have the content out of the way, step 2 is really easy. It's just about leveraging your assets. And this is the easiest part of SEO and link building. Because what happens is it's not your first site. I mean, usually you already have assets. You're already in the industry. You've been around for a while. You might have slightly related sites. You might have like fully related sites. You have things already at your disposal. And what I did is I had 4 sites that were relevant to SEO. So I basically gave myself 4 links, and that's it. Like there's no magic, no special things that I had to do. I was like, all right, well, I already have 4 sites on SEO. Let me just link to myself, right? So I'm going to go into detail about how I did that, though. One of the sites is a PR3, and the domain authority is 24. One is PR0, so it's really not that powerful of a site. Domain authority 15. One's a PR1, domain authority of 9, which is next to nothing. And one of them is a PR4, and it's the domain authority of 41. So that one's pretty good. And you know what? Those sites, the reason I chose those sites was because they were very relevant. They were all on SEO, and I was putting up an SEO property, an SEO website, and my properties were all related to SEO. So that's kind of the golden rule. I actually own probably close from 50 to 100 sites, but they're not related to SEO, right? So I didn't use special blogs and that were themed on other things. So I have things that are themed and so like different niches and so forth. I didn't use any of that. I only used the sites that were very, very relevant to what I was writing about. So that's going to be the key. if you already have some web properties that are related to what you're, the site that you're creating or property that you're creating, then you could link to it. But if it's not related, then don't. Alternatively, if you don't have any of the properties, or you don't have any, you kind of have one thing, well, you could buy web properties. Or you could actually get the authority links in the members area. There's like a section where you can get authority links. This will kind of be a substitute to getting some real relevant links back to your website. So if you have stuff already, then just link to yourself. So that's step 2. And so far, step 1, create the content, write a lot, make a lot of images. Step 2, link to yourself. So far, this should not be difficult at all. And what I want to talk about, though, is when you're linking to yourself, and for the whole linking part, is going to be avoiding penalties. The anchor text is actually really important these days, and it's important in a different way. It's important that you use natural anchor text that won't get you penalized. So when I was linking to myself, I did not use exact match keywords. Not at all, not even once. Instead, I implemented exact match keywords into long sentences that I wrote about myself, and I linked to my site using that. So for instance, I'm going to give you a random example. I didn't actually use this exact string, but it's relatively close. But it would be, an anchor text would be, this is how I recovered from panda and penguin recoveries. And I'd have that as a link. Another link could be best information on how to recover your site in Google. Another link would be panda recovery techniques and information here. So when I'm linking to myself, I'm linking with very long anchor text. And like I said, this is not theory. This is, you're seeing the results. That the graph are the results of what I've been doing. And this is not like, hey, it would be nice if we just had long anchor text. This is what I'm doing, and it's working. Okay, so step 3. This was also free and pretty easy to get, is ask someone in your industry to write about you. So kind of a link exchange, but not really. This was actually just a request. This was a one way, hey, can I get a link? Can I do something for you and get a link back? It turns out I did an interview on a relevant SEO site and I got a link back. And the reason I was able to kind of set this up, well, I was talking to a friend in the industry already, and it was just like, well, let me just do an interview and we'll get a link. So one of the major keys of my success, and this is not just for the SEO industry, honestly, it is every single industry I've ever been in, and any single industry I've ever been ranking in, is always have friends. They don't say it's not like competition, it is co-opetition, where you do a blend where your entire group succeeds. So I personally try to give back 10 times to my friend, and I want to make sure that they succeed. And whenever you have friends, it turns out that you're helping them. They'll introduce you to new friends, and the more you help others, the more they'll help you back. That's why it's actually really easy to just get a link back to your website when you have a really high quality property and you have a bunch of friends in the industry. Not only can you leverage your own stuff, but you could leverage your friends' stuff as well. So that was my second link building step and my third overall step. And that all, once again, completely free, took next to no time. It was just one of those painless links. And on top of that, you know what? It's actually really, it's not black hat. It's not anything else. They have a site on SEO. They're recommending me and everyone's happy. So now I'm moving on to paid links because, those were all free. And now this is the paid section where that gives you a bit of extra boost. But you're going to see I actually didn't pay that much. So step number 4 is going to be sending out a press release, because if you have a really high quality resource or website and you have a special twist on it, you could always figure out a news angle. Why is this special? Why did you write it in the first place? What's special about it? So I figured out an angle that was unique, and I wrote a press release, and a press release with the intention of it getting picked up by media. So I only used the URL as my backlink as well. So I didn't use, whenever you're writing a press release these days, because press releases tend to get syndicated, and it's possible that it will be syndicated on hundreds and hundreds of sites, I tend to avoid the exact match keyword as anchor text. And instead, I opt for using a link as my anchor text back to my website. So I actually used, was it Vocus, which ended up sending it through PR Web. And because I have kind of a deal, it ended up not costing that much. But if you're going to be doing it and you want to rank really high, it can be worth it just to have one straight up press release. But it can be a little pricey if you're just doing it one at a time. Usually you got to try to figure out an angle, or you gotta try to figure out how to get them a bit cheaper. But I'm just telling you, like I said, it's a case study. I'm showing you exactly step by step how I did them. So step 4 was sending out one press release. Step 5 was utilizing private blog network links. Now, this is gray hat and you got to do it at your own risk, but blog networks still work. So I used blog networks in a very unique and original way, and it's actually just really not that complicated. I had my team go out, and as you know, in the members area, you could, if you're a member, you could order private blog network links. And I had my team go out and I just told them, hey, I actually need some of them for myself right now, and go out and make a 500-word article with one picture that I have relevant to the topic. And what I did with my private blog network links is I actually used the exact match anchor text, but I used it a maximum of one time. Because with the blog network links, I have a lot more control over exactly what kind of anchor text I want. So I only used it one time per article. So 5 different articles, I meant 5 different anchor text links. And that was what I did that was probably the only thing where that was a little gray hattish-y. And of course, the private blog networks, I'm a member of like many private blog networks, and I got to pay the team and all that. So that's the other small expense I had to incur on myself, but that was totally worth it because after that, I get some relevant anchor text, I get some powerful links. This is kind of the extra juice. And the last little bit of spice that I added onto the site was joining the conversation. So joining the conversation actually means going in on relevant sites that are already talking about your subject. So really simple, what I did was what they used to be teaching like back in, 2003 or so, was I Googled the keyword, I saw the big sites that were discussing the information, I saw what was happening, and you don't need to necessarily pick results on page 1. You could actually just join a discussion on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as the discussion is happening on your subject, on some of the words that you're going for, that's all right. So I found 7 sites that were having like really good discussions about my topic, and I left a total of 7 comments. When I wrote the comments, I wrote like the best damn comments I could possibly put together. Like this was like, I'm writing a comment as if it is my, like my thesis or something. It is my like life's work or whatever you want. I would just write the best comment that I'm capable of writing. And when I'm writing it, I actually referenced my site as a source because, some of the site, one of the site that I was doing on SEO, I just used that as a source. And sometimes, to be honest, my site as a source had no relevance as being a source, but I just left a really good comment and I put source and I put my site, right? And I only used URL links whenever I was linking in the comments. So there was no anchor text. It didn't look spammy. I was providing some really good value and adding on the conversation. And then I was referencing the things that I was saying in my conversation, right? So if you're leaving a comment and you're saying, okay, this is it's like this because of this, and here you want to, like, this is where I got this information, and then you keep on talking and you just have like, 100-word, 200-word, 300-word comment. The webmasters appreciate that. The community really appreciates your input, and it's high quality content for their site. So they leave your comment, and therefore they also leave your URL referencing back the site. And as long as you're not using anchor text in your comments, most of the time it'll come off as really natural. And okay, this makes sense. The platforms that are really good for this are Discuss and Livefire. If you find those, you could actually get yourself into some good discussions. And I left a total of 7 links. So this didn't take much time. It actually took probably like an hour or so. And that was it. So in terms of links, that's absolutely everything that I did. So nothing magical, and there are no extra steps after this. And now the traffic's increasing pretty much every single day. So once you really have the foundation and you have the links, you just need to start adding even more high quality content. So the same type of content you added before, just add more and add more and add more. And the thing is now that people know about the site, the links are starting to come naturally because, I'm almost laughing while I say this, but the quality of the content is attracting links. Like Google professes, it actually happens if you have some really, 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 really good links, good content. So now I'm checking the link reports, and links that I'm not creating are starting to come in, and people are just starting to flow to the website, and traffic is increasing and increasing and increasing. So the recipe, if we want to go over it one more time, let's go back. The recipe is really simple. It's you create the highest quality content you can, and it makes everything easier, by the way. So when I'm making the comments, right? For instance, when I'm doing the commenting at the end, if the moderators are likely to check to see what I'm commenting and what I'm referencing. If you're referencing a spammy site, people are going to delete your comment. But if you reference a site and there's really good information on that site, they're likely to leave it in the comment. So it helps you at every single stage. So my total recipe: 4 links from my own sites, 1 link from a friend, 1 press release, 5 blog network links, and 7 comment links. And that's a total of 18 links. And one of the major things is every single one of those links had different anchor text. And that's it. That was my recipe, or that is my recipe that I want to share with you to outranking Moz, HuffingtonPost, and everything else. That's how crazy it is. And this is, there's proof behind it. So I want to share with you the kind of secret of why it worked. Well, the secret is that 100% of my incoming links are relevant. I mean, every single link that I built, all 18 of them, were all on relevant pages and relevant sites back to my main content. Everything. So for instance, whenever it was the press release was about my content. All the sites that I used and I linked from, they were all on my content. My friend's site was on the content. Every single link coming back to my web property, my new website, is a relevant link. So since then, there's actually Webmaster Tools is showing me that now there's 65 links. So I only created 18, and those 18 links that I created ended up creating 65, meaning that sometimes you put a blog post and it'll be like the main page, and then you'll have a tags page, or you have like an authors page, and you have like a sub page. Sometimes you put out a press release and it creates, it gets syndicated across many sites. So more people talk about it. Sometimes people will see that and they talk about it in forums. So all of that happens. Now I have a total of 65 links, but I actually only created 18 links for my piece of content. So 18 links ended up being 65, and the trick is that they're all 100% relevant. So the other thing is all the 18 links that I created, every single one of them had a unique anchor text. So now that means that as they get syndicated, and as that 18 turns to 65 links, I have a very varied anchor text, because sometimes that anchor text ends up being, if I had used only 1 or 2 anchor text and I was like, oh, well, I have 18 of them. Well, now I would have like 65 links with probably the same anchor text, or very, very close. So that's why whenever you're seeding, I guess that's what I would call it, seeding the original links, you want to use very varied anchor text, so that if it happens to get spammed and syndicated and just copied across the web, in which for whatever reason, then you don't look like someone spammy with the exact same links coming from everywhere. So my secret, honestly, was the anchor text diversification. I used the exact URL 80% of the time, meaning that it was www, like yoursite.com/URL. And the rest of the time, it was long anchor text with my, it was long anchor text with my keywords inside, and I have 5 links that are the exact match anchor text, which were the private blog networks. And that's it. So that's really secret number 2, where Google absolutely loves diverse anchor text. So if you have any questions, comments, or you want to share something about, your success with me, then ask me in the support area. That's like really, I want to hear from you. And if, I'm always answering questions there. And the other thing is I'm actually starting to offer right now one-on-one coaching and weekly access to me. So I'm starting a little mastermind group. It's a it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of mastermind / coaching / weekly access to me. The way it works is we have this place we meet up online, obviously. So everything's virtual. And we could share information. You can meet and network with everyone else. And you get weekly access to me. So every single week, I make myself available so I could work with you one-on-one and really look at your coaching. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some group calls. We're also going to be doing some one-on-one, so you really get to me and say, okay, here's this, here's that. What should I do next? How should I structure this? What's the next step on my project? What should I be concentrating on? What's broken on my site? Basically, if you want weekly access to me via Skype and basically Skype and Facebook, then this might be for you. But I'm not accepting everyone. I just can't, unfortunately, because I'm so busy. I'm always making updates for this, and I'm always making, doing research and working on so many other projects. So I want to see if we're a good match. I'm trying to put together the best possible group. I want a group of people that will not only really benefit from working with me, but also would be happy to share and network with other like-minded people. So I'm putting a really good group together. And if you want to see if you're a good match, if we're a good match, then just go to ericlanchos.com/coaching. And that's just the application form. There's no commitment. There's no nothing right now. It's just, let's just see if we're a good match. And if you're interested and you want to, and you have a decent sized business, then maybe that's right. Maybe it's not. So if you want, then go there, let me know. Otherwise, if you have any questions on this, on my easy ranking method, and you've enjoyed this, or you want some more information on a part that I did, then feel free to email me as well. I'm really happy to help you out and answer any questions that you might have. And once again, my name is Eric Lanchos. I was nice talking to you.